This is how I built a multi-million-dollar teddy bear business. In this video, I'm going to break down everything I went through to build this business. I was bootstrapped, I didn't have loads of cash, and I built it into a behemoth. And I wanted you to be able to do the same. How did I do it? I want you to swipe and deploy all the ideas so that you can grow your company and build a £1 million plus business. Let's break it down. Now, let me give you some context to exactly what the business is. It's a Make-A-Bear children's activity business. So we sell the bears that are empty, and then the kids stuff them and make them into their own teddy bear, so they've got a sense of ownership. We also sell loads of outfits. You can see here, we've got teddy bear pajamas, we've got teddy bear princess dresses, Christmas, Halloween, every single thing. Plus we've got all the sound boxes you can put inside. We sell the t-shirts so that you can customize and decorate the t-shirts. We've expanded it into an arts and crafts business on top of that for more activities for kids to do. That's what the business is. So slightly different to just selling teddy bears. It's a slight niche, and there's riches in niches, and I'm going to come on to that more as we go through the video. Right, let's give you some headline facts and figures of the business. I had the idea for this business in around 2015, got going in 2016. It's 24 now, so we've been going around 8 to 9 years. The business at the beginning was losing money. It was really hard to get it over the line, but we're fast forward now. We're profitable. We'll do about 5 million in revenue this year, and next year I hope to do 10 million because I'm signing up some big contracts. We've got amazing clients, and we're sending out products every single day. We've got around 20 staff in this business. It's a brilliant business. I can't wait to break it down for you. So now you know what the business is. You've probably got questions. How did I fund it? How did I get it going? How did I get those initial customers? Where did I find all of my suppliers? Well, let's break it down. First of all, how did I fund it and how did I get my customers go hand in hand? If you're an entrepreneur and you're a business owner and you're bootstrapped and you haven't got loads of rich family members or big private equity or venture capital behind you, you've got to use cash flow to keep the business going. And remember, keeping the cash flowing keeps the business going. It's a mindset that I've always had. Now, this business, you need to send hundreds of thousands of dollars to India, to Turkey, to China to get your products to be able to sell it. That's traditionally how an import business works. And once you're established, it's very easy to get banks to back you, and you can get trade credit lines, which we're about to get in this business. But in the beginning, very difficult to do, because how does the bank know that you're going to find the customers? So smart entrepreneurs should try and create a waiting list. They should try and have the mindset of getting orders before they order. And that's very much what I did. I was in the leisure and hospitality game. I owned a farm park and some indoor play centres. And I wanted to do these activities in my own businesses. And that's really how this business got going. I had a children's Christmas grotto called the Father Christmas Experience. And I wanted the gift at the end of that Father Christmas experience to be a Make-A-Bear teddy bear rather than just some plastic toy. So that's really what got the business going. But I didn't really have enough buying power on my own because I needed to bring in 20,000 teddy bears, and I only really needed 7,000 teddy bears to get going. So I rang round some zoos and some visitor attractions and some farm attractions and said, hey, would you like to buy these teddy bears? And they gave me a signal that they wanted to buy. In fact, they gave me orders with deposits. So I took their deposits, I took their orders, and I put a very small markup on it. But it then gave me the buying power with those orders and those customers that were giving me signals that they wanted to buy as well. And we bought together. Really created like a cooperative. So 3 parts to it. Number 1, I went out there and got orders from people before I actually had the product, giving me deposits and cash flow. Number 2, I had my own business, massively de-risking the venture because I knew that I could sell them in my own businesses. And number 3, I had the cash flow by combining my orders and their orders to buy enough stuff to get the right product at the right price to be able to make a profit for myself in my own businesses. At this point, you're probably thinking, well, how does James find all these products? Where does James source all these products? Well, I get on the bleeding plane, ladies and gents. I've been to Turkey, I've been to India, and I've been to China all in the last few years, multiple times. I'm there all the time. In fact, we've got our own warehouse and distribution in China now and our own factory in India that solely makes for us. But, you know, there's some good news here because none of my stuff is fashion lines. What's a fashion line? Well, these shorts and these t-shirts are made by Well, this one's Ralph Lauren, I think this one's Zara. But they won't be making those same products next year. They're going to come up with a new fashion line to get people to come back and buy from them. I hate businesses like this. This particular children's dress we would have made 20 times over, multiple years. This teddy bear cat we've made for the last 5 years. We repeat all the lines. So we do all the work once, and then we can use that work time and time again. That's leverage. That's really good entrepreneurship. You do the work once and you get paid forever and ever and ever. Best way of thinking about it is this YouTube video. I'll make this video and it'll still be shown in 5 years' time. I write a book and it still gets sold multiple times over. So you have to get on the plane. You have to go to the countries. You've got to go to the trade shows. You've got to, when you get, as soon as you can, employ people out in those countries to look after all your quality control. We do all of our own research and development. We design all of our own stuff. We do all the artwork in-house. And that's really important for us. I think what you can't do is build businesses like this just on the back of going on Alibaba or using Mr. Google for your research. You've got to do the build work, you've got to do the legwork. There's a great book actually, by the way, that will really help with this, which is Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, which is the story of how Phil built Nike, that goes into what I'm doing here in a massively bigger way. But he, like me, gets on the plane, went to Japan, went to China, went to Vietnam, sourced all of the products, sourced all the factories, put the boot work in, and then you should get massive returns on your time investment. Frugality was at the heart of this whole business, especially in the early days, because I had any spare cash that I had, I wanted to put into stock, because if I didn't have the stock, I couldn't get the sales. So what do you need when you've got lots of stock? Well, you need a big warehouse, but I didn't want to pay the costs of a warehouse. Right now, we're spending like £150,000 a year on warehousing, and we're about to buy another big, massive warehouse. In the early days, I didn't want business rates, which is the local council tax that businesses have to pay. And that's usually about half the cost of your rent. I didn't want all of those costs being layered in. I made sure that I used my existing team members in the rest of my business, so I didn't have a massive payroll. It's only from year 6 onwards that I started layering the business with costs, because it was generating its own profit. And really, a lot of the costs I now put in are investments into the future. So why you want frugality to be at the heart of everything you do. You don't want to be so frugal that you don't invest in people, you don't invest in showrooms and exhibitions to go and get more customers, because when you do some of that investment into R&D, it can really explode a business. For example, if Apple didn't invest in developing the iPhone, do you think they'd be the company they are today? So there is a difference between investments and costs, and I want to put my free cash flow into investing in growing the business and not just putting loads of money into cash flow generation in terms of warehouse costs. So in the first 5 years, I used space that I had. I was putting stock under stairs. I was putting stock in my agricultural barns, my hay barns that I had at my farm attraction that wasn't really being used to the full extent. I was putting it in sheds, doing everything I could not to pay rent, not to pay overheads, to keep the business as tight as possible. And really, when you're in business, you should think about the first 1,000 days and then 10 years. There's a phrase that I live by in business. Most people overestimate what they can do in a year, but hugely underestimate what can be achieved in 10 years. Smart entrepreneurs think longer term. They say, this is what the business is going to look like in 10 years' time. This is the business I really want to have. And that's the gift of entrepreneurs. They can really think with massive visions into the future. Most people don't think like that, but you've got to get through the first 1,000 days. My experience in business is profit really only comes at year 10. It's like a child. You have a 1-year-old and a 10-year-old. A 10-year-old can start thinking for themselves. They start thinking about what education and what direction they want to go in their life. They can start staying over people's houses and going out with their mates on their own. You know, things start happening once you start getting into double-digit years. It's exactly the same for business. So on those first 1,000 days of being in business, make sure you're so frugal. Make sure you keep costs as low as possible. And make sure, like me, when I start businesses, I'm focused on bringing in cash flow and bringing as many customers into the fray as absolutely possible. What lots of people want to do is they want to focus on operations. No. Sales before operations. In those first 1,000 days, getting customers and keeping customers should be everything that you're doing. And then once you get past year 7 and up to year 10, then you can start doing the big investment stuff to take the business to the next level. So let me explain the business thus far. Teddytastic. This was the Make-A-Bear teddy bear business that we'd built. It was doing very well. And we was expanding it organically each and every single year. 5, 10, 15, 20%. How did we do that? We got more customers, but also expanded the range. We started doing accessories, made more teddy bears. We went from like 12 teddy bears to 50 teddy bears, more accessories. So that's what most entrepreneurs and business owners do. They rely on organic growth to get their business going. But there is a little hack that I've learned over the last 20 years that can take a business from here like this to whoosh like that. How can you go into stratosphere? We can buy other companies. And in this warehouse, the Teddytastic warehouse, I've got loads of other businesses that fold into an ecosystem, as I like to call it, folding into your existing empire. What you should do as an entrepreneur is think, right, I've weaved a basket over here, I've got all my eggs in here, and this is making some nice money, but now you need to weave other baskets so you can have all your eggs in multiple baskets, as the phrase goes. You need to be doing that stuff. So I was on the hunt for other companies that I could buy, or other brands that I could buy that would fold in nicely to the people that were buying teddy bears from us. You know, we were selling to lots of indoor play centres. They were doing parties. Did they need party products? Did they need children's arts and crafts? And one of the companies that I bought was Party Pieces that make piñatas like this. You know, the kids whack it and the toys come out. So we bought Party Pieces and start selling party wear and other children's arts and crafts. We started selling slime stuff. I then bought a children's arts and crafts sand making company, and that was a brilliant buy because we had access to a huge database and started selling all of those customers teddy bears, and all of our teddy bear customers were buying sand art and party products. You see how this ecosystem folding into your existing empire and leveraging your overhead, leveraging your database, your overhead, your warehouse, your team. Once you start doing that sort of stuff, bada bing, bada boom, bish bash bosh, you've got yourself some more dosh. Right, let's break down where the business is going right now. I want to get the business to a 10 million revenue. I always think once you get past that 10 million of revenue, you've really built yourself a commercially profitable enterprise. The whole aim of the game and business is to build a business to sell, even if you have no intention of selling it. I don't want to sell this business. I absolutely love it, but it is the mindset that I go through. You should be building businesses so they look like investments that someone else wants to buy. It's just the best discipline that you can have in business. And actually getting it to 10 million of revenue with a 1.5 million EBITDA, that's the profitability of the business, is just a smart place to be. The downsides of this business is you need to hold so much stock. You need big warehousing. Right now, as I'm recording this today, we're sitting on £2 million worth of stock. And if I get everything that I want over the line in terms of contracts that I'm bringing into the business, I'll end up holding £5 million worth of stock by the end of next year. That's just what I have to do because of all these shipping delays, problems that we've got around the world where products are taking longer to make. So you just end up sitting on more stock so that you can do the right thing and actually supply your customer. Once a business gets over 10 million of revenue, it becomes much easier to fund as long as it's nice and profitable, and that 1.5 million of EBITDA will be the profit that allows a bank to help you fund all the stock so you're not using your own cash flow, which is what you do when a business starts because no one wants to believe in you. It's really tough actually. But there's some other good things about this business, and that's rare and protected forms of leverage. If you can make your business leverage, protected and rare, its value grows so much more. So we're going to expand the business using personalization and direct to consumer. At the moment, we bring in millions of pounds, 80% of that's millions of pounds go to the wholesale trade sector, but we want to build up a big B2C business. And we've actually bought a big website that supplies children's baby clothes so we can sell teddy bears with personalization on. We really want to expand that, and that's another reason we bought Party Pieces. So we've got a marketplace to sell direct to consumer. So the rare and protected forms of leverage of this business. What are the moats around this business that protect it from competition? Well, holding lots of stock. If you want to be in this business, you've got to get ready to put millions of pounds into stock and time and R&D to find all the products and services. Now, what protective forms of leverage did I have with this business? Well, I was known in the industry. I was a leisure operator, so I knew how to go and get customers. Plus, I really do believe that I know about marketing. I know how to get customers in the round, even if I wasn't in that industry. And I think once you know marketing and you know how to get customers and you get good at it, that does give you a rare and protective form of leverage. For example, if a celebrity wants to bring out a perfume brand and they can put their name to it, that means they're going to get customers much, much quicker. When you see Disney buying another movie studio, they can use all of their rare and protective forms of leverage to grow that that business. They can put the Star Wars brand into Disney World and get more customers like that. I'm always looking for opportunities like that. And if you can do the same, that's a rare and protected form of leverage. Now, contracts and tenders are rare and protected forms of leverage as well. I think as soon as you can, you should start knocking on the doors of the biggest boys that you can possibly find. I went to big zoos, big visitor attractions, big holiday parks and said, look, we would really like to supply you. We're really good. We're small, we're nimble, fast, but we've got great customer service and we can do some unique products for you. Lots of people are scared about that. They hope and pray that one day a big daddy will come to them. Well, no, you go to them. You do direct mail, you pick up the phone, you get in the car and you put the proactive effort. I've done that in all of my businesses. I've rang local governments, I've rang CEOs, I've sent them gifts in the post, anything that I can do to get in front of the right decision maker. It just takes a little bit more effort. Do you know the difference between good and great? I honestly believe it's just 10% more effort. Most people send an email. Very rarely do people pick up the phone now. And very rarely do people send a letter in the post, and very rarely will they go and knock on a door anymore. And if you can just do 10% more effort, the results are explosive, and that's what I did in this business. And if you would like to learn more from me, why not come along to one of my seminars? I'm doing a big seminar in London called Business Masterclass. It's a 2-day event where I'm going to talk about how I import products, break it down into a powerful keynote presentation, how I get customers, how I buy companies and do that as frugally as possible, how I get the most out of my amazing team that I'm so blessed to have and have cultivated them, turned them into amazing people. Tickets are only a few £100, and I'd love to see you there. If you'd like to find out more, you can go to my website, jamessinclair.net, or there's a link in the video description. And I can't wait to explode the growth of your business at Business Masterclass. See you there.